1.9 billion Muslims walk this earth. They pray, they build, they dream. But in some corners of the world, their faith is a crime. Their beard, suspicious. Their hijab, dangerous. Their mosque, a target. These aren't ancient times. This is today. And these are the 10 countries where being a Muslim could cost you your job, your dignity, even your life. So the question is, in a world that preaches tolerance, why is Islam still treated like a threat? Let's begin. Number 1. China. In China's Xinjiang region, being Muslim can land you in a re-education camp, a euphemism for what many call concentration camps. Over 1 million Uyghur Muslims have been detained. Inside, they're allegedly tortured, forced to eat pork, drink alcohol, and renounce Islam. Mosques are bulldozed. Quran reading is forbidden. Fasting in Ramadan? Monitored and punished. Even children are separated from Muslim families to be raised in atheist government facilities. Why? The Chinese Communist Party believes that Islam is a tool of separatism and extremism. It fears any faith that stands above loyalty to the party. So Islam is not just suppressed, it's being systematically erased. China claims it's fighting terrorism, but is terror defined by beards and belief? This is not just Islamophobia. This is cultural genocide. Number 2. India. India is home to the second largest Muslim population in the world, yet it's becoming one of the most dangerous places to be one. Under the rise of Hindu nationalist politics, Muslims are portrayed as invaders, terrorists, or traitors. The 2019 Citizenship Amendment Act granted fast-track citizenship to immigrants, except if they were Muslim. Many Muslims now fear being declared illegal despite living in India for generations. From lynchings over beef to riots in Delhi and homes being bulldozed for protesting, India's secular fabric is tearing. Hate speeches are often ignored. Police action is selective. And the narrative is clear. If you're Muslim, you're not fully Indian. Why this shift? Politics. Demonizing Muslims has become a winning strategy for right-wing parties. The more they divide, the more they conquer votes. For Indian Muslims, the fear isn't just from mobs, it's from the system itself. Number 3. France. France, the land of liberté, égalité, fraternité, has strict secular laws. But for Muslims, secularism feels like suppression. In 2004, hijabs were banned in schools. In 2010, face veils were outlawed in public spaces. The message? Islam doesn't belong in French identity. After terrorist attacks, Muslim communities faced collective punishment. Mosques were closed, charities shut down. Everyday Muslim women were harassed in the streets for covering their hair. The 2021 anti-separatism law claimed to promote unity, but disproportionately targeted Muslim organizations. Young Muslims feel they must choose between faith and future, because practicing Islam openly is seen as rebellion. Why the discrimination? Fear. Many in France see Islam as a parallel culture that threatens national values. Politicians capitalize on this fear during elections. In France, Muslims are free, only if they hide their faith. Number 4. Myanmar. Myanmar, once known as Burma, is where the Rohingya Muslims have faced genocide. The military, backed by Buddhist nationalists, burned Rohingya villages, raped women, and murdered thousands in 2017. Over 700,000 fled to Bangladesh. Why? The government claims the Rohingya are illegal immigrants from Bangladesh, despite historical evidence that they've lived in Myanmar for centuries. Stripped of citizenship in 1982, Rohingyas became stateless, voiceless, and easy targets. In refugee camps, they are still unwanted. Inside Myanmar, they are confined to camps, denied education, health care, or freedom of movement. This isn't just discrimination, it's a slow erasure, a genocide the world watched in silence, And to this day, not a single Rohingya has received justice. Number 5. Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka's Muslims were largely peaceful citizens until the 2019 Easter Sunday bombings changed everything. A radical Islamist group carried out the attacks, killing hundreds. But since then, the entire Muslim community has been held responsible. Mobs attacked Muslim shops and homes. Hijab-wearing women were harassed. Even during the COVID-19 crisis, Muslim families were forced to cremate loved ones, violating Islamic burial practices. The government introduced laws controlling Islamic education and attire. Mosques came under strict surveillance. Despite Muslims publicly condemning terrorism, suspicion still looms. Why the hate? Ethno-religious nationalism and political gain. Leaders find it easier to blame a community than fix systemic failures. In Sri Lanka today, being Muslim means living under a microscope. Your prayer is your threat. Your identity is your curse. Number 6. Austria. Austria presents itself as a peaceful, modern European nation, but for Muslims, it often feels like a surveillance state. In recent years, the Austrian government launched a controversial initiative called the Islam Map, publicly displaying over 600 Islamic institutions on a national website. Though officials claimed it was for transparency, critics, including human rights groups, argued it was digital targeting. Mosques have been shut down under vague accusations of political Islam. Girls under 14 are banned from wearing headscarves in schools. Political campaigns routinely exploit Islam as a threat to Austrian values. Why this hostility? Austria's history with Turkish migration and its fears of Islamic radicalism have created a fertile ground for Islamophobic rhetoric. The government often conflates cultural Islam with extremism, punishing an entire community for the actions of a few. For Austria's Muslims, especially youth born and raised in Vienna or Salzburg, identity becomes a battlefield. Speak your language, wear your faith, or defend your beliefs, and you risk being branded un-Austrian. This isn't just about laws, it's about losing the right to belong. Number 7. Denmark. Denmark, often praised for its progressive values, has adopted policies that many believe specifically target Muslims. One of the most alarming is the ghetto package. This policy labels neighborhoods with high Muslim populations as ghettos, imposing harsh regulations on residents. Children in these areas must attend Danish values classes, or parents face penalties. Double punishments are imposed for crimes committed in these zones. Public housing options for Muslim migrants are restricted. Why this harsh approach? Danish leaders argue that integration has failed and that Muslims create parallel societies. But critics say the real issue is systemic bias. Muslims are being punished for maintaining cultural and religious identities. Muslim women wearing hijabs often face verbal attacks. Far-right parties use anti-Muslim sentiment to rally votes. Even cartoons mocking the Prophet Muhammad were publicly defended as free speech, while Muslims were told to just accept it. In Denmark, Muslims feel like they're constantly being tested, their loyalty questioned, their religion mocked, their presence restricted. It's not integration. It's forced erasure under the name of progress. Number 8. Switzerland. Switzerland may be known for chocolate and neutrality, but its approach to Islam has raised global eyebrows. In 2009, the country voted to ban the construction of new minarets, the symbolic towers of mosques. There were only 4 minarets at the time. The ban wasn't about noise, it was about what they represent: Islam's visibility. In 2021, a nationwide ban on face coverings was passed. Though it targeted only a handful of Muslim women wearing niqab, the campaign used Islamophobic imagery, portraying Muslim women as a threat to Swiss culture. Why such bans? Many Swiss citizens fear Islam challenges their traditions and secular identity. The far right has painted Islam as incompatible with Swiss values. This rhetoric taps into a deeper fear of the foreign other. Muslims report rising levels of workplace discrimination and school bullying. Imams are closely monitored. Mosque permits are often delayed or denied. For Muslims in Switzerland, faith must be hidden behind silence and conformity. In a land of mountains and peace, the Islamic call to prayer is a sound many may never hear. Number 9. Central African Republic. The Central African Republic, CAR, is one of the least talked about countries in the world, but for Muslims, it's one of the most dangerous. Since 2013, this nation has witnessed brutal sectarian violence. A Muslim rebel group, the Seleka, briefly took power. In response, Christian militias known as the Anti-Balaka launched a revenge campaign, not just against fighters, but against entire Muslim communities. Thousands of Muslims were slaughtered, mosques burned, families dismembered. Survivors fled north or into refugee camps in Chad and Cameroon. The UN called it ethnic cleansing. Today, most Muslims have been driven out of the capital, Bangui. Those who remain live in isolated enclaves, guarded by UN peacekeepers, unable to move freely or rebuild their homes. Why the hate? A toxic mix of religious revenge, colonial legacy, and power struggles. The government's inability to protect its Muslim citizens speaks volumes. In CAR, being Muslim doesn't just make you a minority, it makes you a target, and yet the world rarely speaks their name. Number 10. Bulgaria. Bulgaria is home to nearly 600,000 Muslims, many of whom are native-born Turks or Pomaks, Muslim Slavs. While they've lived in the region for centuries, discrimination against them runs deep. During the communist era, Muslims were forced to change their names to Christian ones, wear secular clothing, and avoid religious practices. Even after democracy returned, wounds remain. Today, Muslims face restrictions on mosque construction and loudspeakers for the call to prayer. Hate crimes are often dismissed by police. Muslim children are bullied in schools. Hijab-wearing women face job discrimination. Why the bias? Bulgaria's rising nationalism blames minorities, especially Muslims, for economic hardship and cultural erosion. Right-wing parties fuel Islamophobia for political gain. Muslim neighborhoods are often underfunded. Religious leaders are monitored. And the subtle message is clear. Practice your faith quietly, or not at all. Bulgaria may not openly persecute Muslims, but the discrimination is embedded in policies, politics, and public perception. And that's what makes it so dangerous. Across continents and cultures, one truth remains. Discrimination against Muslims is real and growing. It's not just laws, it's the looks, the policies, the silence. But silence fuels oppression. So don't be silent. Share this video. Start the conversation. Because the moment we stop talking about injustice is the moment it becomes normal.